Hey traders, Jonathan with Control the Trade here, going live, and you're looking at a chart of SNOW, S-N-O-W, one of the charts that I'm looking at today. If you saw my tweet, I had posted a few tickers that I wanted to take a look at, and SNOW being one of them. So let's take a look here. As you can see on my chart, if you've watched me before, you know that I put like red dotted lines for quote-unquote important numbers. So 245 is an important area. It's a breakout area, it's a breakdown area, and you can kind of see where the market's been going up and down, getting rejected there, and now we're back above. So that's pretty bullish here. We're above very important moving averages here. We're above the 50-day and the 20-day. It's the red and blue lines here curling up. So 245 would be a good entry point if it does start to flush a little bit, so you'd want to set your alerts there. Also, you can see we have a lot of runway here, even probably all the way to the 270s if it gets on a breakout here. Let's take a look at a monthly chart. Oops, it's a relatively new stock, so there's not much tape here for us to read, so that's kind of a weird looking monthly chart there. But you can see here what we would want to challenge. We want to stay above the high of this candle here to stay bullish, 246.48 on a monthly close. It's a really nice doji candle here on the monthly. It's very bullish in my book. So this could be a big breakout here. We could start challenging some of these hot prices in the 300s here if it continues the momentum here. I'm assuming there's probably some sort of underlying short squeeze going on. I haven't checked the short float on it. Weekly chart also looks really good, relatively speaking. Back above the 20-week moving average here. That's really strong. It's interesting how the 20-week coincides with my number. 245.05 is the 20-week. 245 is the important number. So on weekly closes, so every Friday we want to stay above that number if we're in the bullish camp here. Again, nice doji candle here on the weekly close for SNOW. So SNOW is looking pretty good for a little recovery here. It was looking kind of ugly right here. It looked like it was going to go even lower. We got the market saved it right here because this pattern, you can see we're making lower, we're just going lower down, lower highs, lower lows, and it just continues to drip down until it was saved. So staying above the 245 and also this high of this candle here at 232 is very, very important, 233. So keep that in mind for SNOW. Let's look at the other tickers that we mentioned in the tweet. SPCE. Weekly charts. I like looking at weekly charts. They give us a good 10,000 foot view. I guess then you could say the monthly would be like a 50,000 foot view of what's going on. And I'm sure that without even looking at Virgin Galactic is moving on short squeeze and FOMO, and I'm sure it's kind of meme-y stock type thing here. We got going a little meme stock. I wouldn't be surprised, but you can see one of my important numbers here was 13. Got all the way down to 1427. Didn't get quite down to 13. And then another important number was 2107. Guess what? Look what our breakout area was. We gapped above that number basically, and we've been flying ever since. So these important numbers, these zones that I draw, I really rely on them. They're very important numbers. That's the way I chart, and so if you ever see those lines on my charts, they're very meaningful. And when they prove themselves over and over again, I can rely on them in my trading on short and long-term charts. So 2107 was very important. So like I said, former breakout and breakdown areas. Looks like we have some movement going on here because I have some alerts going off too. Yeah, there's some good activity today for sure, with the market making all-time new highs again, which is just out of control. So SPCE, you're gonna have some resistance up here at about 38.93, which is the open of this candle here. Let's go down to a daily just to see what else we can see. 42.49 would be my next target here, just based on these old numbers, and these numbers were charted a while back. I mean, probably a year ago or more. So they still tend to come up. Now, if you don't believe that, you can look at many charts and you can see that a lot of numbers on the charts are what I'll say are magnetic. So, these are algorithms. These are algorithms that are created by people. So they're going to mimic the same actions as a person, really. And there's like crowd psychology going on here too. So if these numbers are important, the market thinks they're important, the crowds think they're important, and if you can identify those magnetic numbers, then you have a little bit of predictability and a little bit of an advantage in the market, in my opinion. You also have this big gap right here that I would be shocked if it didn't try to fill. If SPCE didn't try to fill, we could even see that possibly happen today, the way that it's moving. Although it did take a nice dip down after the gap up. So that's a good one to watch. We'll see if the retail traders push that one up. And then we have one of my favorites, SAVA. If you look back at my Twitter, I've been following this one since it was like $2. Never thought it would get this high this fast. I did expect a squeeze on this, and we got it, and then it got mixed in with the whole meme stock world right here, you can see. But before that, it was just a normal little short squeezes here and there. But this one's looking great. It busted through my number at 56, and we haven't looked back. We got to break the high of yesterday, and if we break yesterday's high, watch out, because 100 would come very fast in my opinion. So that's a really good area to set an alert on. I'm sure there'll be some sort of rejection up here at 76. You know, you're not just going to march right through there with no problem. So that's something to watch. But man, look at this breakdown candle here. That was a crazy day. I think even after hours it went up in the 120s. And there was a day when I kept selling this, like playing it normal, like selling it at resistance, and it just kept going and going and going. It was just defying logic, which most of these stocks are doing, like Segway, AMC. This one's just stupid, right? But if you can make money on it, then it's not stupid. You have a nice bull flag pattern developing here. You have all the hype in the world around this thing. I don't personally think it's going to do what everyone else thinks, but I'm not here to give my opinion. I'm here to look at the charts and let them talk. So right now it's obviously bullish. If we start to get above yesterday's high, 59.68, which we've teased it so far, we're right there. And we're going to try to challenge this candle here too, and you're going to see a nice little squeezeroo right here, no doubt. I like to look at 4-hour charts too. They're very helpful, more for day trading. Looks just as bullish. It looks like identical to the daily. That's weird. I guess because it's had such violent moves. Look at the 10-minute chart, nice bull flag pattern right here. Developing, looks really strong. Just have to hold the line here. Hold, 59, 60 to get that next move higher. Let me take a quick breath here and just take a look at some other charts on my phone. Hope you guys are having a great day today, and if you haven't checked my channel out before, definitely please go subscribe. I'm trying to go full-time day trading, and I'd love to help other traders out, so please check out my channel. You can post tickers that you want me to chart. I'm happy to do that, just for fun. And I hope it can help in your decisions when you're day trading, swing trading, or even buying and holding. Let's go to the next one here, which is, I think, NNOX. Let me see. I haven't looked at this one in a while. NNOX. Wow, big day already. And look at that, my important number. Now the red, not as important as the orange, not as important as the red, but still important. And it's interesting that my orange line almost lines up with the 50 period, which is 3102. My number is 3025, and we're coming upon 3025. We're going into it slowly though, so I would say that's more bullish, that we shouldn't get a rejection. But you have a lot of overhead resistance here at the 50, so there's probably not much more room for this to go. If it does bust above the 50, and let's say it starts closing hourly candles above the 50 period moving average, then we could see a nice short squeeze on this one. So that's NNOX. Let's look at a longer term chart just to get a 50,000 foot view. We'll look at the monthly, my crazy looking candles. Again, this one doesn't look like it's been around that long. We put in maybe a pivot low here at the 1905, or are we just getting a little retracement on the 50% retracement here on the monthly? And 3025, again, that looks like the line in the sand here. You start getting above 3025, you start getting above 34, we could have another little spike there. Look at the weekly. Yeah, weekly chart actually looks a little, weaker in some respects. It's this number here, this 2922. Got to close above that. Got to close above my number 2, the 3025. So you do that, and this thing could take off. All right, let's go to the next chart. Did AMC right? Whoa. Yep. Let's go to the next chart. Okay. NKLA, that one has fallen off everybody's radar, so it could be a good candidate for a short squeeze, which has already kind of done a little mini squeeze here under the radar. Oh, look at that. Hadn't even noticed that it had. Look at that beautiful green bar up there. that is a strong move with a lot of volume behind it. So we could get another strong move. But the only thing is about these like huge patterns here, these huge green candles up, is that you have a lot of room to move down to the downside of this candle, which would be 1785. But it looks very, very strong. So let's take another look. The yearly chart looks crazy. You have the 200 period moving average here sloping down. You can already see we tried to make a run for that, got rejected, and it is at about $20.10. I remember $20 being pretty important for this stock at one point a long time ago. Let's look at a monthly. Again, I mean, this is crazy. Look at this reversal candle here on the monthly that we had, and then we've just been going down ever since. So you need to come out of this. The 20-month moving average we ran into, what's that? It is 2036, and the high of this candle is 1952. So that'll be our next resistance, about 2035. You can be pretty sure of that. How long it gets rejected there, we'll find out. But if it starts closing above the blue line here, then we'll start getting a stronger move up. We'll get a little more squeeze going here. And what could result is you got your A leg up here on this monthly. You got your B leg down. And then maybe you get a C leg to finish up here. But that's a little crazy. I think this is going to be the all-time high here, 93, 99. Just can't see any catalyst, whether it's short squeeze, whether it's this company, fundamentally doing well. I just don't see overcoming these huge breakdown candles here. So look for 2035 for resistance, long story short. Let's see what's next here. Okay, I just had a subscriber ask for Zynga. Let's look at Zynga. Look at that. 11 has been important. You see that? Where are we at right now? 1041. Where was the high? 1098. So we just pulled this up. I got a message on my phone here to look at Zynga. Haven't looked at this in a long time. And that number is still important. That's on a monthly. Let's look at a daily. Look at that. Look how important 11 has been. And then you have this zone here between 9 and 11 that it's kind of hanging out in. Really have to get back up above 11 on weekly closes to get another move higher. It looks like it's trying really hard to do that. You have the 50 period moving average here at 1052, so I'd set alerts above that number. Let's see what else we have. Well, I just had a nice alert going off, I think, for AMRN. Let's look at AMRN. Not exactly a stock that's on everyone's radar, but I think it will soon be on everyone's radar if it starts to squeeze. 50 period moving average, this thing has been decimated, by the way. 50 period moving average is at 504, so that's going to be really important for us to get back above 504 for the bull case. Let's look at the weekly. Look at this candle, really destroyed this thing. Look at this bear flag it created. So we have our flagpole, and we started to go down. We got saved here, still making that. So it's still very bearish, long-term downtrend. So you really need to start closing candles back above the let's say the 200-week moving average. I mean, that would get this thing back on track. But that's a lot of work to do in the chart. $7 is our line in the sand. Getting back above $7 would spark this to higher prices. So it's one to set alerts on and be aware of. When these are down in the dumps like this and everyone starts to kind of they don't pay attention to stocks like this, that's when you want to pay attention to it and you want to set alerts so you can get back in. Case in point, NEO. NEO is dead. I mean, it was completely dead. Look back here. There's no volume on it. People were just selling it, and then you probably had some bag holders that were really lucky. If you think about it, could you imagine just opening your account up one day and you're just like, man, I screwed up. I have this $2 NEO, and then all of a sudden you get this move right here. I know there's probably a ton of traders or people that had NEO at these low levels and gave up on it essentially, and then you got this move, which was a short squeeze, no doubt about it. I'm surprised NEO is starting to come out of this. I still think it's going to be in the 20s, as I've said many times. It's going to go back down to about 25 before it goes higher. So we'll see. Right now, a lot of people think that that's incorrect. There's a lot of passion about NEO, but just remember where it came from. Can't forget where it came from. It was $1, and it went up to 67. And if you're new to the market, you're new to trading, you're new to day trading, you're just new to the stock market, that's not normal to make moves like this. None of these moves this year, since let's see, March of last year, have been normal, quote unquote normal. None of them have been garden variety. This is not how the market normally works. So you have to adjust, obviously. Oops, I meant to do GME. Speaking of not normal, holy moly. 340 is the high. I had no idea. Unbelievable. That's on the weekly. Does that mean today it's up that much? Let's see. Yeah. And where's our resistance? For that 343? 348. Let's see what happens when it challenges that candle. That's going to be interesting. That's going to be very interesting if it can break above. This was a reversal candle here. So we are right at the teetering point of GME. So if you get above 348, we're going to start challenging up to maybe 380 to 400. That'll get the people talking. That'll get the media talking. Look at this chart. This thing is out of control. And they have earnings coming up, so maybe people are buying up in anticipation of earnings. I don't even know. But that's dangerous, because this could just go down 100 on a clip. No problem at all. But right now, the chart looks super bullish right now as we stand today. I would never hold this ever. Diamond hands, it's silly. This is a day trading vehicle. Not even a day trading vehicle anymore. It's become a joke, if you want my opinion. I mean, they need to issue more shares. Probably they should probably be paying off their debt. This company was failing. It was going to go out of business, and now all the executives are probably cleaning up. I mean, now you have a $330 stock that was a $3.30 stock, not too long ago. Look at this. It was 12.14 back here, and that wasn't even that long ago. Let's look back. Look. My chart can't even pick up all this up. 257. I remember tweeting about this when it was like $4. I missed the meme revolution here, unfortunately. And I remember thinking, oh, if it goes over $4, you might get a short squeeze. $400. It's just insane. All right, let me make sure I didn't miss any more stocks. Hope you guys are winning today. Hope you guys are green every day. Let me take a look. What else do we want to look at while we're here? This is such a good time to trade too, and if you watch my other videos, I talk about the worst times to trade. So highly, highly encourage you to watch the 5 trading mistakes to avoid video that I posted. Not enough views on that one. I think it's one of my best videos, even though it was recorded really poorly and not edited at all, and a lot of stumbling and bumbling there. But the content is great, and I promise you, if you watch that, it'll help you, and I would assume you can relate. If you can't relate to those 5 mistakes, then I guess it's just me, which I can't imagine. So I wonder how many mistakes do you guys find that you make that are in that video. All right, let me look back here one more time. We're gonna wrap this up in a minute. But yeah, one of those trading rules though is not trading after 11:30. Or I think I said 12, because you don't want to be a gremlin. You don't feed Gizmo after midnight, or he turns into a gremlin, and so do we as traders. We just make terrible decisions. 11:30 is like the worst time. After 11:30, let's say like 12 to 3 o'clock is just dead. That is a terrible time to trade, unless there's something going on in the market, like the Fed is speaking or some sort of black swan event. Generally speaking, you want to be out. And you can look at a 10-minute chart here. We can go back and see what I mean. Look at all the volumes in the first candle, and it just dies off. And it's going to keep getting lower and lower and lower. Wow, SPY on the drip here. All right, let's see. What did I post? What was the other ticker? I think we covered most of them. All right, let's look at everyone's favorite CCIV. Here's one that if you bag held, you're not really happy right now. There was so much speculation in this. Look at this. But we have a nice move up here. We have some room to move. You can see on the daily it's starting to look very bullish. You got the 50 and the 20 starting to curl up here. And this is a candle that has to be overcome. A lot of volume back here, these two candles here. High 35, 72. That would be the next area the major area that it's going to challenge, other than this like 31 to 32 range here that it should challenge. Let's look at the weekly, see if we can get a better view. Yeah, we're above the 20-week moving average. That's strong. So you want to finish this week if you're a bull above 25.85. That's going to be important. But look at the ugliness of this candle here. Let's look at the monthly. Can't really get much out of this monthly. It hasn't been around that long. It's a SPAC, right? So I don't know. I would. This is another one that I'd have trouble holding on to, personally. It's too volatile. And another favorite, PLTR. Similar kind of chart, honestly. A lot of these charts are similar. You had these crazy moves up, all this hype, and then flush everybody out, flush them all out, and now we're starting to pick up steam. You can see 30 is important on this chart, something to keep an eye on. And it's a visual thing for me. You can see where we're going to start getting bullish and where we're going to have overhead resistance, which our next spot of overhead resistance will be the high of this candle here, about 26. And let's look at a weekly. And our resistance here is the 20-week moving average, which is 25. We're right there right now. Right around that area. That wraps it up for PLTR, and I think that's going to wrap it up for me. I want to... Oh, you know what? I had one more. RKT. Another crazy chart. But the daily chart's looking good, though. We're back above the 200-day moving average, finally. Just above it. That's bullish. Let's look at the weekly. Super ugly. But, again, 20-week moving average, 2096. Just above it. 21's important for this stock. You can see on my chart, 2276, very important. 2475 as well. All these lines have been important. 18 was the area that we were watching before. I think I tweeted about 18, the importance of holding 18, which we did. So RKT, I don't know why I get so much hate. Definitely a high short float on this. So we're looking for the short squeeze if we're a bull. Alright, that will wrap it up for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope it was helpful in your trading. And I appreciate you watching, liking, and subscribing. And remember, don't let the trade control you.